It's War Dragon time, RPW here with another video to the Beginner's Guide to War Dragon series. Now, if you've been following my channel for the last month, then you would know I have a 4-part series this month on all about that base. Now, this 4-part series goes through everything the beginner needs to know about building and runing and defending their base. Now, actually, I shouldn't say everything, but everything that the beginner needs to know. So the very top of the surface. So the first week we went over back to the basics. Then in week 2 we went over using guides and planners, and then last week we went over the defense towers and perches, which means we are down to our very last part of the series, which will be about ruining towers and defending. However, I did rename this ruining monuments and defending bases because technically you ruin the monuments, not the towers. So let's go ahead and jump into this with the first part of this video, which is what are runes and glyphs? So if you really don't understand what these are, they actually are something very cool and really exist outside of this particular game. Okay, so those of us who believe in a more magical side of the world know that there are things out there that we cannot explain, things that give us power that we would never have had, or even other little things like this. So technically these are magical stones. Now, these runes and glyphs are an ancient magical symbol, and their power can be harnessed to give them more power to your weapons and your dragons. So here's the thing, guys. That means you're going to have a magical protection for your kingdom when you utilize these. Now, that doesn't mean just grab any rune, because each rune has their own specific power that they harness. So for example, if you look here, we have an Epic Storm Frenzy, which goes on a storm tower, and then an Epic Storm Glyph, as well as a common glyph. So you could not put this on any other tower. Now, each of these glyphs actually come in a specific rarity. For example, the common storm glyph has a low rarity, where a epic is stronger than, for example, the rare. And there are even stronger ones out there. So if you want to see what runes you have, all you have to do is go to your rune vault, and you're going to be able to see all of these in here. Now, as I scroll through here, you're going to see that I have everything from rare to epic to wisdom. And if I go over to building only, you'll be able to see specifically the ones that are for your base. Now, right here, for example, as we mentioned, the Epic Storm Frenzy. This is going to increase a tower attack by 1.4%. And of course, I want to thank my husband for letting me borrow his alt so that I could record this. Okay, so as you go through, here is a legendary healing striker, which is much stronger than any of the others. So, however, if you don't have lightning towers on your base, it may not be worth much. Where this legendary fire flag glyph is very particularly special, because flags are very strong and glyphs are very rare, let alone a legendary glyph. So all of these are going to really be able to add onto your base to give them a lot more strength. But remember, some are not going to be worth much, like your commons. You could always salvage these and delete them for more. And you can also upgrade them, like here. So we will go over this a little bit more in my next series, which I will announce later. Okay, guys, so what else do you need to know? All of these runes and glyphs will be able to be put into your statues. Now, these monumental statues are going to be what holds those runes and where you can upgrade them for them to affect the specific island where they're located. So if I put a rune on this one, it's not going to affect the island up here. I would have to put it on its entirely own monument. So the important thing to remember here is make sure that you put the glyphs that you desire to boost your base in the coordinating spot where those towers are. So as we said before, if it's a storm tower rune, you would want to put that where the storm tower is. But you wouldn't want to put, for example, an archer tower on an island where there are no archer towers. Honestly, pretty black and white, so be sure to go in and see if yours match. Now let's talk about defending tools and resources. Now, the defending tools and resources that are provided to you are shields, hammers, swords, and supershots. So with these different resources, you're going to be able to defend not only your own base, but other bases. Let's go over Supershots first. Now, activating a Supershot, all you have to do is click on a tower. And once that tower has been clicked, a piece of your Supershot bar will be removed. Now, with that being said, that is how you'll activate a Supershot. But just so you know, this is not resources, so you can spam this away. But let's not waste it either. So you better know how not to waste and how to best utilize these. Let's go over some fun Superfacts for Supershots. Now, a few rules, or like I said, Superfacts, are number one, in order to use this, all you do is simply click. They also never expire. Now, more shots will be given to you when you defend yourself. And then, of course, the amount that you have will increase with research. And also, unused Supershots will be forwarded into the next round up until your maximum amount. So let's say you can only hold 8 and you've only used 2 and you get back 4, you're only going to get back 2 in total. Okay, what about the strategies for Supershots? One of the biggest issues I've seen out there is those that use Supershots on very ineffective low-level towers. So one of the things you really need to know is what the base is like. So if you know what your base is, for example, and where everything is, you will know where you should best Supershot. And try your best to try to get to know your teammates' base. Now, if you keep your base as well as your teammates keep their base as short as possible, it will be easy for you and for everyone else to kind of guess where the best shots will be. Now, my particular way of using Supershots is to activate any mage towers that might be on a drain island. Then I'll use all the rest that I have on those on the kill island. Now, you need to know what the Supershots do for each tower to be more effective. So again, don't waste your Supershots on small level towers. I said you need to know what each tower does in a Supershot, right? It's pretty easy. The fire turret, it will actually increase all damage dealt to a dragon, where the ice turret will slow the dragon's ammo regeneration and shield nearby towers. The electro flak will go into overcharge, while the dark flak will stun the dragons temporarily. Now, in order to find the specific tower's Supershots, all you have to do is click on it on your island. And in that, you're going to be able to see how high the damage is, the durability, the health, etc., as well as the Supershot. For example, here, Supershot stuns dragon temporarily, as we said earlier. So be sure to get into your base and check and see exactly what each of your towers do. Now, what about where to click? Like I said before, the best possible playing to start with is clicking on any rage draining islands and clicking those mage towers before you click anything else. You can quickly run over to the kill island and begin clicking on those towers as well. And after this is when you will be ready to use your defense resources. So let's go over the different resources you have during a defense. The first is a shield, and it is used to boost the HP on the towers within the drop range. And the hammer is used to repair those towers within the same drop zone. And last but not least, the sword is used to increase the firepower of those same towers. Now, don't place a hammer on something that hasn't even been attacked yet, because that is going to repair something that's not even needing to be repaired, and that is truly a big waste of your resources. Now, of course, there are other times you can waste your resources. For example, if you're the only defender and the base is a long base and you know that you have a hard time defending this base anyways, I would stick with Supershots. And then I would also reach out and email the person and say, look, your base is kind of difficult to defend. Which do you feel is your kill island so I know where to defend? They might just reach back out to you and say, well, my base is weak and I don't know what to do. And then maybe you could forward them to somebody to help. Another thing is, a lot of teams have specific rules. For example, some teams say do not use, any of these resources unless it's for wars. And then there's some that'll say unless it's for wars or things like an Atlas event. So be sure to check with your team and see when they, best suggest that you use these, or when they suggest you don't. Now, if you're not on a team, it doesn't matter. You can waste these all day if you'd like. But remember, these are valuable resources, so you want to use these when they're most important. Now remember, the shield will help, like I said, protect the towers while the hammer will build, and the sword will boost that attack, as well as the super shots is, helping boost things as well. So if you can get them all on one island prior to that dragon coming around, they're going to have a lot more difficulty on that specific island. Now you'll probably notice where people will actually drag the hammer over and spam an island, and that is because they want to continue rebuilding as you're trying to attack, and that can make for a very struggling attack. Well guys, thank you for joining me for this 4-part series of all about that base, and I really hope that it has been useful for you. If this is the first time you've tuned in, be sure to go check out my Beginner's Guide series playlist, and you can scroll towards the bottom, almost to the bottom, and you are going to find this series on all about that base. And of course, the first one will be back to the basics. Now next month, I'm actually going to be starting a new series on runes and glyphs. Now in the first week, which will be next week, we're going to be going over the Runes and Glyphs 101, which is just an extended version of what we went over today. And then in the second week, we'll be going over Rune Strength, and that is the different types that go up into Legendary, Mythics, and then of course you're leveling them up. And then we'll go into Rune Management. And then on the fourth week, we'll be going into Salvaging Runes. And then, of course, the last week, which is the 5th week, we're going to go over runing it right. So it'll be about runing specific dragons and specific, areas on your base. So if there's any dragons or anything of that nature that you are not sure what you should rune, be sure to reach out to me. You can send me a little video clip in line at Royal Pain Wife, all small letters, and show me the dragon and the runes that you currently have, and we could use you and your dragon as an example so that you know how best to rune your dragon. So that is it for today's video, guys. Now, as for the final thoughts, I need everyone to begin trying to focus whenever you're defending bases. Try not to waste your resources, and like I said, get to know the bases that you're defending, as well as, kind of look and see what runes you have that might be in a wasteful place. If it doesn't match anything on your island, you might as well salvage it so that you can get those extra rune dust. Now, assuming that everything goes right and I do get Axie today, like I'm hoping, be sure to check back later tonight. I'm hoping to get a review video done on Axie tonight. So and it'll be a first period review. It'll only be at gold level, but it'll definitely be a start to let any lower level know whether this is something you want to get. And then be sure to hop back on tomorrow to see a higher level review of Axie as well. And then during tomorrow's Axie review, we will actually have our drawing for Tuesday's Talk Dragon Tuesday weekly $20 giveaway. So be sure to check back tomorrow for that as well. Now guys, that is not the only place you're going to be able to see an Axie review. You'll actually be able to hop over to Skyline's video sometime this week, maybe next week. I'll be guest appearing over there with Axie as well. If you don't know who Skyline is, be sure to search him up here on YouTube. It's Skyline WD. He does a lot of videos like I do. So definitely great to have as many people out there giving you as much information as possible. So don't forget to subscribe while you're there. And then last but not least, as you all know, Platinum has been given the Atlas. So I have started a new series called Atlas Explorer. Now, I am not any type of Atlas expert, so this is not an Atlas how-to-do guide by any means, but it is simply what I'm learning as I explore Atlas. So if you want to check that out, be sure to come in on Fridays so you can see that as well. Alright guys, I really appreciate everyone's support. If you liked today's video, be sure to leave me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell for notifications. And don't forget to share with everyone that you know that loves War Dragons.